If you've snapped over something small and thought, why am I so angry all the time? You're not crazy. Summer mom rage is real, and you're not the only one feeling it. Welcome to Reclaim and Reset with Luna, where we help busy, overwhelmed women shift from burnout and survival mode to a life that feels like your own again, with simple tools that make change actually stick. Today, we're talking about something we don't say out loud often enough: how hard it is to stay calm in the chaos of summer break. The heat, the mess, the noise, the constant needs. There's no break room, there's no personal space, and there's no real off switch. And even when we try to stay patient, it only takes one loud shriek or one more wet towel on the floor to make us lose it sometimes. If you've been riding the rage roller coaster this summer, then this video is for you. Let's break down what's really going on, why it's not your fault, and how you can calm the storm without pretending that that storm doesn't exist. So let's start with what summer mom rage actually is, because it's not just anger. It's chronic overstimulation, emotional labor, decision fatigue, sensory overload. It's the relentless feeling that your brain and body are being pulled in too many directions with zero buffer in between. Summer becomes a pressure cooker for this because all the usual outlets and structure are gone. The kids are home all day, and they're loud, they're hungry, they're touching each other and fighting over nothing. And meanwhile, the fridge is empty again, but the AC is barely keeping up, and somehow you're still working through it all. For me, the moment I realized I had hit my edge came when I absolutely lost it over a dripping popsicle. My youngest walked through the kitchen trailing red juice behind her, and I exploded. I mean, screaming, snapping, full meltdown. And as soon as it was over, I felt awful, like awful. It wasn't about the popsicle. It was about everything else that had piled up under the surface, and I had just washed the floors the day before. Summer mom rage doesn't mean you're angry all the time. It means that your nervous system is maxed out, and if we can name that, if we can identify that, then we can work with it. So let's talk about the part that makes it worse, and that is the guilt. We yell, maybe we slam a door, we snap, and then we spiral into shame. The voice in our head says, you shouldn't have lost it. Good moms don't yell at their children. But here's the thing. Feeling guilty doesn't make us better moms. It just keeps us stuck in self-judgment. And the truth is, it's normal to love your kids and still need some space for them. It's normal to feel touched out, talked out, and just done. You are allowed to feel overwhelmed. That doesn't make you a bad parent. It makes you a human being. And the more we internalize the idea that good moms are endlessly patient and peaceful, the harder it becomes to give ourselves the space we actually need to reset. We're not failing because we feel anger. We're not broken because we lose it sometimes. What helped me shift my mindset was recognizing that the yelling didn't come from being mean. It came from being empty. It came from being exhausted, from being overstimulated. Burnout isn't just exhaustion, right? It is full-on depletion. And nobody makes good choices when they are running on fumes. So let's shift the question. And instead of asking, how do I stop being angry? Ask, where am I depleted? And how can I refuel? And here's what I do when I feel that fire bubbling up. It's a tiny ritual I use to interrupt that wave before it totally crashes. First, I ground. So I pick up something cold, an ice cube, a cold glass, anything tactile. Holding it reminds my body that I am here, I am safe, and I am not about to explode. That cold sensation signals the nervous system to slow down. The second thing I do is I breathe. I like box breathing. It's simple and easy. You inhale for a count of 4, hold for a count of 4, exhale for a count of 4, hold for a count of 4. And do that just 2 or 3 times, and it is really enough to downshift my brain out of that fight or flight mode. And finally, the third thing I do is I name it. I tell myself, this is overstimulation, not a crisis. Just telling myself that sentence helps me separate what's happening from the story my brain is spinning, right? My brain likes to tell me a lot of different things. And sometimes I do this in front of my kids. And we actually have a code word now. I say red zone, which means mom's about to lose it and needs a second. It's not a perfect system, but it's progress. And this reset only takes a minute. But that minute has saved me from full explosion more times than I can count. And I know as we continue through the summer, I'm going to be using it probably a whole lot more as my patience wanes near the end of it before the kids go back to school. But I can do this reset. It's something tangible. It's something that I can actually also teach my children because they're also starting to lose it with each other after being together all the time. And so now we practice this a little bit together sometimes. So now let's talk about what to do after you lose it. Because let's be real, even with all the breathing and grounding in the world, sometimes we're still going to lose it. Here's what I've learned. The repair matters more than the rupture. So when I yell or snap, I circle back. I get on their level, I take a deep breath, and I say something like, I was overwhelmed. That wasn't okay for me to react like that. I'm sorry, and let's try again, right? Something to that effect. You choose words that resonate with you, but it's not with shame. It's with honesty. And why does this work? It teaches our kids that emotional regulation isn't about never getting upset. It's about recognizing when you do and learning how to come back from it. And that's a skill they need too. And when I model it, we repair. One of my daughters told me recently, I knew you were mad, but I liked that you said sorry. And that kind of stuck with me because she's not expecting me to be perfect. She just needs me to be present even after I messed up. So if you lose it today, that doesn't cancel out all the times you've kept it together. Repair is powerful. Use that as a tool in your toolbox. And this final tip might be the most important thing I've learned. You need a buffer. You need space between the demands and between whatever's going on with your kids and in your life, between the weather that's making you sweat 24/7. You need to create that space. In my house, this looks like a mom's off duty time block. So that might be 20 minutes when the kids are on the screens and I have headphones in so I am not hearing them bicker. Might be 10 minutes sitting on the porch alone with a cold drink. This is not a luxury. This is how I function. And sometimes I will even tell my kids, Mommy's on timeout. Mommy's on timeout for 10 minutes. So I need to be quiet on the stairs by myself. I also use screen time strategically. There's no shame in that. If I'm going to show up for them with patience at some point later on in the day, then I sometimes need to not show up for a little while. And that's okay too. You are carrying so much invisible labor. The planning, the remembering, the checking, the tending. Sometimes you need a moment where no one is asking you for anything. And again, that doesn't make you a bad mom. It makes you a human with boundaries in place. So what would a buffer look like for you? When could you carve out just a little space for your nervous system to breathe so that you don't constantly experience that feeling of anger and frustration? I want to leave you with a couple of thoughts. You are not a bad mom for having a bad moment. You are a human in a house with other humans during the hottest, loudest, most overstimulating time of the year. You don't have to be calm all the time. You just have to keep coming back to center to reground. So drop a fire emoji in the comments if summer mom rage is a real thing in your house, and I will send you all the cool down ideas I've got. Until next time, remember, you've got this. Keep showing up for you, and I will see you in the next video.